How can you get the most value for your budget at Disney? Everyone has a different budget and everyone has a different idea of what's important on a Disney vacation. It can be especially overwhelming for a first-time planner. So let's break down my strategy for planning a trip that's cost-effective and successful. Hi, I'm Allie. Thanks for stopping by my channel. What I'm really talking about today is not being frugal necessarily, but being wise with your money and choices so that you get the most out of your Disney trip without wasting your money or time for that matter. Here are the things we're going to be looking at. So maybe take a screenshot or get out a pad and pen so you can write some things down as we go. Let's start with, we all like to stay at the nicest resort we can afford, obviously. Maybe have a few sit-down meals, never wait in lines, and be able to use Lyft or Uber when needed. I don't like to waste time. I like to be efficient while not stressing out too much. I mean, it's supposed to be a vacation. Let's get your budget in order. Do you have dates in mind? Are you flexible? I recommend going when the crowds are the lowest. If you have to go around holidays or school breaks, it will be crowded, very crowded. I like late May, September, sometimes early January. Crowds and prices will be lower then. Going during these times is very good for your budget as there will most likely be deals on hotels. The first thing I do is choose a hotel. You need to use the Disney website to price out a bunch of different resorts to see which one you can afford before adding on perks like Genie Plus or restaurant reservations. Always check Disney's special offers page. They often have deals on hotels for certain dates. I do not book without a deal. And like I said, if you're flexible, it's best to go when there are lower crowds. And often there are deals during those times because Disney is trying to fill the rooms. So always check for special offers first. Okay, so how do you pick your resort in the most efficient way that gets you the most for your money? Ask yourself what you value most. Will you be spending a lot of time at the resort or will you be spending mostly at the parks? Will you be going to the pools? You need a water slide? Value resorts don't have water slides. The water slide has been a deciding factor for us. My kids swim all the time since we live in the South, but they don't get to go on a water slide too much. So that was important for us on a few trips, or at least once they were old enough or big enough to go on one. If that doesn't matter and you want to save a lot of money, but still be in the Disney bubble, you might start with a value resort. The value resorts I recommend for families are Pop Century or Art of Animation. Either one is good. If you have a bigger family that might require 2 regular rooms, you might consider one family suite at Art of Animation. Although I think the rooms at Pop Century are newer and nicer, so Pop Century is my top pick in the value category. 2 rooms here might be the same price as a suite at Art of Animation anyway. My kids love roaming around Pop Century and Art of Animation because there are big, bright characters from movies like Little Mermaid, Cars, and The Lion King. You can also use the buses for either resort since they are right next to each other, connected by a walking bridge. That gives you an extra option to get back to the resort when leaving the parks at night. Another amazing perk of Pop Century and Art of Animation is the Skyliner to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. If you stay at these resorts, you are already making the most of your money by having transportation options that are better than some deluxe resorts. Just understand that these hotels are basic. They are clean, nice, fun, but not fancy. The staff is just as lovely at any other Disney resort, and you are still on Disney property, so you get all the Disney resort perks like early park entry. If you want to go a little more upscale and get a slightly bigger room, my top choice in the moderate category is Coronado Springs Resort. This resort is almost as good as the deluxe category. Coronado is such a beautiful and relaxing resort. It's great to come back to after a long day at the parks, and while it's very mellow, it still has that Disney energy because it's big. The Gran Destino Tower at Coronado has the biggest rooms and the best views, but it is also the most expensive way to stay at Coronado. The regular Coronado rooms are just as new and nice as the tower, but they're a little smaller and more spread out around the property. I like both and I have a hard time booking anywhere else because Coronado gives you such great value. You can check out my video about the rooms at Coronado's Gran Destino Tower, and I'll link them above and in the description. I would recommend any of those 3 resorts, Pop Century, Art of Animation, or Coronado Springs, if you're trying to maximize your value and still get a great Disney experience. If you still want to go for deluxe and get the best deal, I would choose the Wilderness Lodge. It is a unique experience and so utterly Disney. It's less expensive than some other deluxe resorts, but you still get the deluxe level and the perks like the extra hours on some nights in certain parks. And I think Wilderness has some good food too, like Geyser Point, which is sort of a quick service and sit-down restaurant combo, and it's right on the water, which is so nice. Wilderness also has boat service to Magic Kingdom, which is so convenient. Another deluxe deal you can get is the Garden Wing at the Contemporary Resort. The Garden Wing is a smaller building next to the main building, and the rooms are just like the ones in the main building. I have seen the prices as low as $350 per night here, which is a great deal for deluxe. The Contemporary has the monorail, which can take you to Magic Kingdom and Epcot. You can also walk right over to Magic Kingdom from this resort. So look for deals on those Garden Wing rooms for a great price on a deluxe. Let's add in the cost of the parks. Are you planning to go to all the parks? Can you afford 2 or 3 parks this trip? Maybe you're just going to one. You can check the park prices on the Disney theme park ticket page. Some park days might be less expensive than others, so you have to check the calendar. Also, check for park closures due to special events like the Halloween party or Christmas party. Don't pick a park on a day that they close early. It doesn't make sense to pay for a whole park day and only get some portion of that park day. Also, will you want to get the park hopper that allows you to go to more than 1 park per day? If you only have time for 2 park days, it might be a good idea to get the park hopper so you can see more than 2 parks. But park hoppers cost more money, and it takes time to travel between parks, so you have to decide if it's necessary or within your budget. We don't usually get park hoppers anymore because we've been to Disney a whole bunch of times, but one time we went with my husband on a work trip and had 1 park day only, so we got the park hopper and we went to 3 parks that day. It was fun, but exhausting, so I wouldn't recommend it. Try your best to go to the parks on weekdays. It will usually be less expensive and less crowded than weekends. Get a general idea of the park ticket cost and put it into your notes. Now let's talk about restaurants. Think about what your family likes or can handle as far as restaurants go. Do you want to do some character meals? Do you want to have 1 reservation a day? Look through the restaurants and their prices to set a general meal budget. All of the information I'm mentioning can be found on the Disney World website. But let's go a little deeper into restaurants. We always go to certain restaurants like Polite Pig in Disney Springs or Ale and Compass for breakfast at Yacht Club. And now I love the tuna poke bowls at Sunshine Seasons in Epcot, so that's on my list too. The Plaza restaurant in Magic Kingdom is a table service restaurant that I recommend. It's not that difficult to get reservations, the food is good, and if you time it right, you can watch the parade right outside the restaurant when you are done with lunch. We have done all the experience restaurants like Cinderella's Castle and Be Our Guest, and while they are fun, we discovered that we aren't really into character dining and it's a lot of money for a meal. So now we usually just skip that kind of thing. Occasionally we try, but I find that the food at the quick service spots is as good, if not better, so usually we choose quick service over table service or character meals to save money and time. If you're a first-time visitor though, you don't know your favorite spots yet, so you have to know what your family likes. Will they want to sit down for a while for some meals, or will they just want to eat quick and get on to the next fun event? Do they get hangry and need to eat as soon as possible? My advice is don't book too many restaurant reservations. You will spend way too much money, spend too much time sitting at restaurants, and feel like you could have spent your money and your time better. Browse the restaurants on the Disney page and see what might appeal to your family and book 1 or 2, or at most 1 reservation a day. The top character meal for food, in my opinion, is Topolino's Terrace at the Riviera Resort. You can get there on the Skyliner from Pop Century, Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach Resort, or any of the Boardwalk area hotels, or from Epcot or Hollywood Studios. Also, classic Disney would be Cinderella's Castle. Everyone should do this at least once, especially if you have princess fans. Tusker House at Animal Kingdom is good for any meal, as well as breakfast at Cape May Cafe at Beach Club Resort. If you want the best bang for your buck, book breakfast if it's available for character meals, since it's the cheapest meal. Next, estimate how much Genie Plus will cost for the number of people in your party and the amount of days you will be at the parks. Maybe use a number like $20 or $25 per day per person to get an idea of how much Genie Plus will cost. I must have Genie Plus. I really don't like waiting in lines unless I absolutely have to. You can do so much more in the parks by saving time skipping lines. I made videos about using Genie Plus at Epcot and Magic Kingdom, and I'll link them above and in the description so you can watch it later if you want. And I'd be really grateful if you would subscribe to my channel. Okay, back to business. I think Genie Plus is so great that I would choose a lower price hotel to maximize my budget if it meant I could get Genie Plus for all of my park days. It's a perk that I just won't skip, and I certainly adjust my choices for my trip to make sure that I have it. This elevates your experience and will help you and your family enjoy your trip more. It's a time saver and could be the difference for some families between wanting to come back to Disney and being a one and done kind of trip, in my opinion. So once you have a good idea of where you want to stay and all the other pieces priced out, you can adjust and move things around to try to stay within your budget and still have a wonderful family vacation. This might mean you should change your hotel choice or go to a lower category or a less expensive hotel in that category. So make sure you have a few hotels in mind that you would consider staying at. For instance, I picked Yacht Club for our first trip for one main reason, which was that I wanted my husband to want to come back to Disney. He had never been there, and I think he was thinking that he would make this a one and done kind of trip, but I didn't want him to walk away with that feeling. I knew he would like the theming and location of Yacht Club, and of course, that it was a little bit of more upscale resort. Who wouldn't like that? So my strategy worked. He loved the resort and was open to coming back to Disney. On our second trip, we went the complete opposite direction and stayed at Pop Century in the value category. I was on a real budget this time, and Disney was offering the free dining plan, which offered free meals if you booked certain dates. It was an amazing offer, but free dining hasn't returned since before 2020. If I asked my kids today, they would tell me that they want to stay at Pop Century, not Yacht Club or Wilderness Lodge, so the value resorts might hold value to your kids in the end. Currently, I'm holding reservations at Beach Club in the fall because they had a dining card deal, so when I check in, I get a dining card for $900. That made it worth it to me to stay deluxe next time. So when you figure out what works for you, reserve it. When you book a hotel and ticket package, you put down $200 deposit that is refundable until 30 days prior to your date of your trip. Even after you book, you can keep looking for newer, better offers because why not? I also like to have a small budget for Uber or Lyft rides. Here are some of the circumstances that I would take Uber or Lyft. First one is hotel to hotel. Rideshares can be useful when you have a restaurant reservation at a hotel you are not staying at Disney. Disney Transportation does not go hotel to hotel except for the Skyliner hotels. So for example, if I was staying at Coronado Springs Resort and had a reservation over at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, I would take an Uber or Lyft. If you took Disney Transportation, you would have to take a bus to Disney Springs or one of the parks and then another bus to Animal Kingdom Lodge from there. That would take a long time. Spending $10 or $15 to save an hour or more adds value to your trip, even if you are spending a little more money. I would take Uber or Lyft if I had a kid who was exhausted at the end of the night and truly could not handle waiting for a bus or a Skyliner or a boat. I would take an Uber or Lyft if we were running late to a restaurant reservation at a park, or if we were late for an experience at a park like building a lightsaber. I would not recommend taking Ubers or Lyfts everywhere because Disney Transportation is pretty efficient and convenient in most circumstances. Rideshares have their place at Disney in helping to plus up your vacation just a little. But to save money, use Disney Transportation as much as you can. It actually is part of the Disney magic. Many kids love the buses. Disney is expensive and complicated and exhausting, but it's also very fun and a great place to make memories together and even learn new and unique things. Don't try to cram everything into your trip. Just focus on a few important things that will make your family happy. Don't try to spend money you don't have. Be reasonable and try to make choices about your hotel, especially, that will allow you to elevate your trip with perks like Genie Plus and a character meal or a special event like a tour or making a droid at Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios. Here's a couple extra tips to save some more money. If a family member asks you what to get your kids for their birthday or other holiday, tell them to get them a Disney gift card. Then they can use it for whatever they want to buy on your trip. If that isn't something you can do and you want to avoid the kids begging for bubble wands and $90 sweatshirts in the Disney gift shops, give each kid a gift card, $25, $50, or whatever seems reasonable to you. Then they can be in control of what they buy and they know their limit. My kids are used to me saying no to that kind of stuff and they really appreciate a $25 gift card. It makes them choose wisely and learn a little bit about budgeting. You can also buy cute Disney stuff at dollar stores, Walmart, or wherever you can find it before your trip and surprise your kids while you're there. Making a plan in advance for the begging that will occur is definitely a good idea. Your trip will be a success. Try to have fun with the planning and be flexible and relaxed while you're there. Only spend what you can afford and plan based on what is important to your family. I have way too much Disney information in my brain and I am happy to share more of it by answering questions that you put in the comments. Be sure to check out the description below or my channel for more Disney videos and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great Disney adventure. See you next time.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.